Morning, everybody. Let's see, I gotta turn this camera around. Good morning. Oh, Amy Lawrence on the radio. I don't know who else is up with me this morning, but live from the south side of Flint, Michigan. This is the Morning Drive Pick and Roll podcast. We haven't been able to do an episode for a while because both myself and my partner Rob Wallace are extremely busy guys, and we got a lot of responsibilities, both work, family, and otherwise. I don't know how many of you seeing this have access to the CPSA Courier. The circulation for that paper is really mainly in the churches, but I've been hearing that it's been popping up at some party stores lately. So pick that up. I write for that every week, and you can really get some good information in that paper, especially regarding some of the issues that we're seeing in the city of Flint right now with the water. There's supposed to be some demonstration today down at City Hall. The citizens or the residents of the city of Flint have taken to the streets, and they've decided to petition and demand that the powers that be switch the Flint water source back to the Detroit pipeline, which gets its water straight from Lake Huron. This whole situation has taken on a life of its own because because it's an emergency. That's number one. But number two, it's because, I'm in Flint, bro. Am I a Michigan fan? Oh, yeah. I went to Michigan, dog. Go Blue. LSNA 2002. Anyway. The situation in Flint is growing, like it's getting worse. That's all right, dog. That's all right. You got it for right now. We coming, though. But the situation in Flint is getting worse because of the emergency nature of it, and because of the relative level of misinformation that's swirling around, which always happens, right? Like it seems like we can never actually get all of the truth, or even a piece of the reality. The statements from Governor Snyder the other day were absolutely ridiculous. They're basically telling the people of Flint, like, yeah, we know it's messed up, but we'll get to it. That's basically what it is. They don't see it as much of an emergency as the people in Flint, and the reason why is because they're not forced to drink or bathe or cook with the water. We are having giveaways to the schools, and I'm pretty sure that those giveaways will probably begin to expand into the communities for some of the more at-risk population who can't get out to a Kroger or get out to a Myers and grab 4 or 5 cases of water to get them through. So we've been delivering cases of water by the truckload. No, that was a myth, baby girl. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, auction-wise, they did that dollar price because the taxes still apply. So yes and no. But anyway, most of that was a joke. But what we can do in Flint right now is inform everybody. And so you got to tell people, first of all, to just stop drinking the water, especially for children, women that are nursing, people that are ill and their immune systems are weakened. They just got to stop drinking the water, and you got to provide them with bottled water so they can handle their business. But the relative apathy that we're seeing from Lansing and from other places in the state, mind you. Now, I have seen recently Kalamazoo has gotten involved, Flushing has gotten involved, and I've seen some impact from Detroit, and I appreciate that. But you know what? The rest of the state of Michigan, man, I'm gonna tell you what. I don't see how. When Flint was booming, when Flint was a manufacturing hub and had everything going on, the entire state of Michigan, the entire Midwest for that matter, was headed to Flint every other weekend. They love Flint. They wanted to claim Flint. Whenever something comes out of Flint, whether it's the Flintstones, Clarissa Shields, whether it's the Durrell brothers, they always want to claim Flint. But now that Flint is hurting, you look around and nobody's standing next to you. You know, we got protesters in the streets. We got people that head to City Hall almost every day, and they're up there and they're basically by themselves because there's nobody there to stand with them. You know, all those protests that were in Lansing, you know, we drove from all over the state to make sure that the people of the state of Michigan were represented in Lansing. When Detroit was going through its problems, people traveled by the busload down to Detroit to make sure that Detroit knew that the state of Michigan stood with them. Where's all the support coming from the rest of the state for Flint right now? You just don't care because it's only Flint? You know, that's basically the message that's being sent right now. Yeah, okay, you sending a couple of cases of water, a few cases of water. I mean, we were going to do that regardless. You know, contrary to popular belief, you know, Flint, we're struggling. You know, we're not doing as well as we once were. But we ain't broke as a joke neither. You know, we can handle our own for the most part. We can take care of our children. We can take care of our elderly. We can take care of our sick. You know, but sometimes we need a little help when it comes to making policy changes. When it comes to, you know, moving public opinion so that these politicians will get up off their rear ends and do something about it. You know, and my homeboy said it perfectly. When something needs to get done, there's always that core group of people, core group of individuals that just sit down at a table, sit down in front of a table and just get it done. You know, where are those folks for Flint? They don't even need to be from Flint. But they, you know, from the state of Michigan, they say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Why aren't there trucks carrying truckloads of water down to Flint right now, coming down 69, coming down 75, coming up 75? There should be truckloads. Absolutely truckloads of water headed to Flint, right? What does it take to make the switch back to Detroit? Does that eliminate the lead levels? No, it does not. It doesn't eliminate the lead levels, but it does lessen them. It makes the water, you know, a little safer, right? Can we at least expedite the pipeline, the KWA pipeline to Lake Huron? Can we do that? Where is the federal money, or state money for that matter, to start to improve the infrastructure? Because that's really the bottom line problem here, is that our pipes are old, man. Flint's an old city. Pipes are old, and so, you know, if you don't treat the water a certain kind of way, it erodes the pipes and get lead in the water. Well, it's time to improve some of those, hello from Italy. It's time to improve some of those pipes. So, what does it take? What's the price tag on something like that? And we all know what's going to happen next. If the government decides to step in and improve the infrastructure, or force the switch back to the Detroit water, you know, in a roundabout way, they're going to end up charging the citizens of Flint to do that. You know, and I believe that Flint will take up responsibility for some of it, but I don't think they should be left carrying the whole bag. Especially not because since they've been put in harm's way pretty much by the state and local government. State and local government dropped the ball here. In the beginning, it was a good idea to switch to the Flint River water because it was a cheaper version. It was a cheaper way to get water than getting it from Detroit. Detroit was gouging the hell out of Flint. They signed a contract decades ago that said that they could raise the rates when and where they saw fit, basically, and that's exactly what they were doing. I mean, it was like 200% at sometimes, and Flint had to get away from it. And so we had the KWA pipeline that was supposed to be built, but we slowed down on that. We didn't put the gasoline behind that because we said, well, forget the KWA pipeline. Let's get the water from the Flint River. There was a movement in Flint at that time where everybody was going against this county movement. Everything seemed to be, to the citizens of Flint, I don't necessarily agree with them, that everything was about the county, not necessarily about the city itself. Everything was about the county. I'm not releasing who I voted for, man. I write for a local paper. Everything was about the county. Everything was about the county. But the city of Flint, people in Flint was like, well, wait a minute, what about Flint? You know, we're still Flint, so let's use the Flint River. We don't want to do the KWA pipeline. That seems to be more about county business. Let's try the Flint River. Well, okay, but you see, there's a degree of research that needs to happen before you go switch into a water source. Okay, and that research either wasn't done or wasn't done effectively. And so we end up switching to the Flint River water, There was issues with smell and coloring in the beginning, but that was just, oh, okay. We don't know. We don't, that was just old, and we got some infrastructure things that we need to fix. We need to buy a couple of filters here. We need to do that, and they did all of that. But then we found out about the high levels of this chlorine, high levels of other chemicals, and now we got elevated levels of lead in the water. And it really was all due to that push for the Flint River. Now, at the time, we had an emergency manager, so the mayor didn't necessarily make that choice. The emergency manager made that choice. The mayor actually was lobbying to switch to the KWA pipeline to hurry up and get that thing built. But once again, people were against him because it sounded more like county business and not necessarily about the city of Flint. Now, here we are in a situation where who knew what when? Who knew that the lead levels were elevated? Who knew that the lead levels were going to be elevated? And I think that in the election, since you mentioned the election that's coming up, there probably will be some consequences to pay for either not knowing and not telling, or knowing and not giving out specific information so people could go out and help themselves. So, as of right now, they're having a protest today. They're going to demand for the city to go back to the Detroit water system. They're going to actually call for Mayor Walling's resignation. I don't know how well that's going to go. But they're getting some traction from the rest of the state finally. I don't know how much national attention this is really having just yet. Because it just seems like it's a little old Flint. Nobody cares about Flint anymore. Now that we're not building everybody's cars, now that we don't have a national champion in college hoops, nobody's paying attention to Flint right now. That's really what it feels like. But people are at risk here, though. People are at real risk here, especially children. All the studies are flying around about the lead levels and what the effect of lead is on a child's brain. So, anyway, this is the first morning drive. We haven't been able to do a pick and roll podcast in a while. Check out pickandrollpodcast.com. Follow me on Twitter. I'm QMB810. My homeboy is Where Is Wallace, at Where Is Wallace. Follow us on Twitter. I'll be posting these a little more often. I got to get something set up for my car so I don't have to hold the phone. The one that I did have, it broke. So, but anyways, I'll be posting these in the mornings, maybe in the afternoons, to try to be a stopgap between podcast episodes because, to be honest, man, we're just busy. We're just busy guys. So I'm going to be signing off. You guys have a good morning. Peace.